and welcome back to another episode of Across the Board. It's a late night one. It is January 23rd, but it is currently almost 11 o'clock. So, yeah, late. Um, Also, we have to mention the fact that Easton over here is wearing a beautiful jersey. Just like to point that out. A beautiful one at that.
You
Best
know,
jersey you could possibly have.
I would like to say thank you, Ruben Chinilu, for having 21 rebounds on the night. Thank you, LSU, for not being able to score the basketball. Um, just thank you for losing to Florida. It truly means the world to me.
Exactly.
Um, it's an honor to be wearing this jersey tonight.
Yeah, that's yeah.
But
Yeah.
the reason why this jersey is so great because it represents not the Florida Gator Nation, but the greatest player to ever step foot on Florida campus and to ever wear a jersey at the University of Florida, Desmond Watson. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. We have to mention that it's like a 4XL.
it's a 6XL actually.
Oh, 6X. Yeah, sorry, 6XL. Yeah, his actual size. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's important to realize that when you think of Florida and the heart of the Florida team, Desmond Watson was that
he's
guy.
kind of like a Taysom Hill.
He's really versatile. He can play any position on the football field. I mean, put him anywhere and he's going to make this team successful. I mean, it's truly an honor to be wearing this jersey tonight.
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah,
really
yeah.
I'm honored.
We honestly we should have put in some highlights of him running the football.
We should have, but it's all right though. He's on Tampa Bay's roster right now. He's gonna go. He's gonna
Is
be.
is he still? I thought he got cut.
I don't know, but whoever
I
picks him
think I
up
think so.
next, don't worry. He'll become the RB1 of the team.
No.
He will be the best running back in the league. He will be better than Derrick Henry, James
He
Cook.
weighs
He,
twice as much.
he'll be better than all of them. He'll be unstoppable. So
Yeah, yeah,
whoever picks him up, you're in for a
definitely.
treat. Whoever's
Yeah,
playing
he's
against
he's,
him,
he's light on his feet.
he is. He's very light on his feet. He's like a gracious ballerina.
Yeah. And we were just
He
talking about
really
it.
is.
I love that John Summerall, Florida's head coach now, actually got proof of that. That was the
Mhm.
last team that got proof that Desmond Watson would run you over. Um,
Beast
500
mode,
man
man.
running at you with the ball. Get out the way. Get out the
Absolutely.
way.
It's just too good.
Yes, yeah. Just want to mention that Florida did demolish LSU. Not surprising, um, but so be it. Uh, good win for Florida. But we'll cover that more on Monday, obviously. So might as well jump into the news for the night that we'll cover. And first thing we want to cover is the NFL. So yeah, let's jump right into that.
Well, it's time to recap first off because um I don't know if madness is the word to describe this week's NFL games,
Yeah.
but
I,
insane, magic, wizardry, whatever you want to use. But can we
yeah.
talk about, let's just start off with a mind-boggling game. Can we start with Houston and New England? Because how on this earth did we manage to watch no, I'm sorry, 8 turnovers in this game?
That's more like it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's start with CJ Stroud's numbers first off. This man was 20 for 47, 212 yards, the TD, and 4 INTs, plus a fumble on that list.
I just want to say I think Desmond Watson would have been done better.
Now, Desmond Watson would have won this game. He'd be on a Super Bowl team. I mean, what's
Yeah, I don't know what happened to CJ Stroud, man. He was I don't know if he was seeing ghost. He was probably honestly seeing more than ghost. I don't know. It was really bad. I know the weather obviously wasn't great, but still,
from a player
I
a
don't know.
player like him? It's a big surprise. But I mean, you
Well,
know, I,
when you throw 47 passes, uh, I mean, it's gonna be a
I
chance.
yeah, I mean,
Good throw.
and I think the big thing that needs to be mentioned too, and kind of going to the 47 pass attempt number. I mean, they were only able to get 48 rushing yards on the ground. Um, Again, I feel like every time we preview whether college football and NFL, no matter what game it is,
Hmm.
an offensive coordinator will tell you a key to a game is get the ground game going. You have to be successful.
Sure.
You shouldn't have to throw the ball 47 times. Um,
Sure.
but in this game, they couldn't get the ground game going. They forced CJ Stroud to throw the ball. He was getting hit a lot in the backfield,
Hmm.
which again, Houston's offensive line has been great. I just didn't expect New England defensive line to be this stout as they were.
Sure.
And I mean, on the other side, no surprise, the Houston defensive line, they dominated as well. They played well. Um, Again, I think for anybody though who watched this game or looks at the score and says Houston defense played bad, I don't know what you're on or what planet you think you're on or where you're at, but I mean this team. I think the defense did everything they could to keep this team in the game.
Yeah.
Um, there was a lot of positives on the defensive side, but you know, with that being said, five turnovers on your side of things just does not help. I mean, and again, they had a chance to win this game. Really, the final score isn't dictated, I don't think, but they had plenty of
Definitely
chance, I
not.
think, to take the lead and win this game. Um,
It would have been tough, but yeah, it just Houston played really sloppy. I mean, both teams played sloppy, but Houston played extremely sloppy. Every time
and
they could get a chance to score, like you said, they just gave it right up. I mean, they just gave it up. It just didn't help. I mean,
yeah, I mean, and that's just watching the game. I was just like, I mean, as many turnovers as there were, as many opportunities, I think that Houston could have folded. They kept
mhm,
playing good. I
yeah,
mean, we saw. I mean, I think these offenses are solid. I mean, they're Houston's not a bad team. We know that. I mean, I think the surprise to
sure,
me, I we know how good New England's defensive line is. I just didn't expect them to be this good. I didn't think they were this good. Um, but at the end of the day, Drake May was 16 for 27, 179 yards with three TDs and INT. Kayshawn Booty, outstanding one hand catch. LSU boy, by the way.
for sure.
Three receptions, 75 yards to the TD. Stephon Diggs caught him a TD. Um, I think, but the big story of this game was the turnovers. I mean, and the same like the Buffalo Bills situation in that game. You can't turn the ball over, you know, five times and expect to win the game. It's just not going to happen.
No,
Um, but
it's not.
that's
It's
just
not.
kind
It's not going to be possible. I mean,
of, no,
Houston just kept shooting themselves in the foot.
mhm. And
Um,
that's just
yeah,
and that's just how it was. Um, we'll head to the next game on Sunday. What a thriller! Um,
yeah,
Caleb Williams, magician. I mean, what was it? I'm sorry, was it a 42 yard? It was a 14-yard pass. Buddy was running backwards. Like, there's no way this is going to end well.
it,
Absolute
yeah. I,
dart.
I, I don't even. I don't even know what to say about that throw. I mean, that was one of the best throws I've seen. Um, but it was also kind of insane that it was even caught.
He
Uh,
was, but as open as he was too. I mean,
yeah,
Cole Kmet was open.
yeah,
Um, some big things, just kind of some takeaways for me in this game. I want to talk about the Chicago defense. They end up losing the game, but how well the Chicago defense played. Um, I had some at the beginning of the game. I had some questions. I'm like, ooh, like I mean, LA was driving the ball early in the game, moving down the field fast. I'm like, I mean, this ain't gonna end well for the Bears. But the defense played outstanding in this game. Um, Chicago, though, the best turnover margin team in the league, lost the turnover battle again. Three turnovers to none. They were minus three. Um, Caleb Williams threw three interceptions in this game. Um, he was 23 for 42, 257 yards, two TDs, and his three INTs. Um, Colson Loveland, DJ Moore both had solid games. Of course, Cole Komet had a big catch.
yeah,
Uh, of course, sent to overtime. Um, Matthew Stafford in this game, 20 for 42, 258 yards, no TDs. Kyron Williams, great in the backfield, 21 for 87 with two rushing TDs. Um, but I think for the Bears, there's a lot of positives. I mean, you look at
Sure.
this, and I think there's a lot to build off of. Um, but as in for the game itself, what a great game. I think the biggest surprise to me, though, how well the Bears defense played. I think they played very well. I think. I mean, especially what the circumstances were. I think they held in strong. Um, Again, after the first couple of drives for LM, I was having questions, but then they settled down, played well, but weren't able to get it done. But this Rams team, we know how good they are. We know how productive they are, how fast they can get going in this in their game. Matthew Stafford, obviously a great quarterback. Kyron Williams, a great running back. Of
Yeah.
course, that defensive line is elite. Um, but I think the Rams got the job done. They got the job done. Uh, Big win for them, of course. Bears devastating loss, but I think a lot of positives for them, and the Rams continue their run to the Super Bowl.
I mean, yeah, I mean, the Rams did kind of what we expected them to do, other than the fact that they didn't have a single passing touchdown, which is surprising. But Kyron Williams, obviously, we know what he can do. We know how good he can be, and two touchdowns, 117 total yards is not surprising. Especially, it's just showing, and we know it, but it's just showing that the Rams can score in different ways. They've done it all year. They don't just need Matthew Stafford to throw five touchdown passes a game. They can beat you on the ground. And again, like you said, their defensive line is good. I mean, the defense. We pay attention most of the offense. A lot of people do. Obviously, potential MVP, um, and overall, I mean, great wide receivers, obviously great running back, but the defense I think is overlooked. I know they've had some bad games where they've let up quite a few points, and the offenses had to bail them out. But we do know how good they can be, and to hold this, even though Chicago had 417 yards, to only hold them to 17 points, especially at home, is really good. Um, and obviously, again, they went to overtime, so some of those yards are in overtime. But again, it's just this defense. They say defense wins championships, and this defense can win one. Um, it does remind me of when the Rams did win the Super Bowl a few years ago. I mean, it does. The team. I think it does remind me of that. Obviously, Stafford's still Stafford. Nothing's changed there. Great wide receivers and stuff as well. Great running back. I mean, but their defense again, we know it could win it back then. I think this defense has shown that it can do that when it needs to step up. It can. Obviously, again, the weather and stuff is related to that as well. But I mean, we knew that the Chicago offense could score a ton of points, and you see what you see what the defense can do. I think the other thing important to see is that Stafford did not have a turnover this game. I know he'd been on a streak for a few games now of at least having
They
one
and and
turnover.
they and they didn't turn over the ball in this game. Period.
No,
Nobody on offense turned it over.
and that's really good for them because, like I just said, they've been on a streak of quite a few games where they've turned over the ball when Matthew Stafford was the best at that for quite a while, for pretty much the whole season until like the last 5 games or something. Um, and so that's good for them to look at that. Obviously, Stafford threw 42 pass attempts. Less than half of them completed for 258 yards, but still, uh, no, it didn't put the ball in harm's way, and I think that's good for the Rams if they do want to get to the Super Bowl. We'll talk about the team they play here in just a minute, but it's going to be tough. I mean, we all know it's going to be tough. Um, yeah, I mean, I think overall the Rams did what they needed to do. Nothing like outstanding, nothing really, special per se in this game. But hey, it's all about winning and who won. You know,
And they, yeah, I mean, and I kind of talked about. I said with Denver, to be a good team in the league, I don't think you have to have the best numbers. I look at simply finding ways to win games. To be the best team in the league, I think the best team in the
Yeah,
league find ways to win games. They did it,
exactly.
and against the Bears offense that has been very productive these past few weeks. But a great game there. Um, Now let's head on to Saturday's games. We'll start with 49ers and Seahawks. Well, let's just say this. San Francisco got a beating. Um,
Yeah, I don't even, to be honest, I don't even know. Like I don't know what happened to San Francisco. I think, well, I think we all know what happened. It's called injuries, and they have a million of them. And when
and
you have that many starters out, when you have that many good players on your team out, it throws off your whole rhythm, especially going, playing in the playoffs. That makes it even harder. And, we saw them beat Philly with some injuries. And so we knew they could do it. But the Seattle team is even better than Philly by a million. So we knew it was going to be tough. I did think it would be close. Obviously, it turned out not even to be close to that. Um, but again, I don't even. Injuries just kind of deflated the 49ers, and they couldn't get anything going. Nothing on the offensive wise. Brock only threw
and,
for 140, and he had an interception. I mean,
and to kind of butt in on that, it doesn't help when the first play of the game is a kickoff return for a
true.
shoot. Like that. That's a tough
Yeah,
way to start.
yeah.
Um, Kenneth Walker had a day. 19
Did.
for 116, 6.1 yards per carry for 3 TDs. He had himself a day. But like you said, injuries killed the 49ers team.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just so hard to win with all the injuries you had. You're playing a great Seattle team. It's tough to go out there and go play your absolute best when you've only got so much on your roster that you can work with. Um,
yeah. I mean, I
but
know they got like I know Pearsall came back, but he didn't really play much in that game, and he didn't actually have any yards in that game. Um, and obviously George Kittle being out, and it's just like then ton of defensive guys still out. I like their whole season has been injuries, and they've battled through it. But it gets to a point when you start losing as many guys as San Francisco has lost. It just becomes really hard to run your schemes and your offense and your defense the same way. I mean,
it, yeah,
it just does. And for Brock, obviously the Seattle defense, we all know that they're amazing and they're great. So we knew they were going to throw some, crazy schemes and plays up that were going to throw the 49ers off, and it did. Uh, Christian McCaffrey didn't have basically anything in this game compared to what he usually has. The 74 total yards, and that's it. I mean, it just they shut down everything on the 49ers offense, and then Seahawks offense just said, "Hey, we're 10 times better than y'all," and just ran through them. I mean, legitimately ran through them. I mean, we knew Kenneth Walker was good, but this is this is an amazing game for him, and this is what Seattle needs. I mean, Sam Darnold didn't have to do basically anything in this game, and they won by 35 points. And if they can do that, then who knows? They could win a Super Bowl. Um, it's
they're
just
definitely a Super Bowl team. I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, they
obviously.
definitely they showed it this last weekend for sure. I will say though, Charbonnet, their backup running back, will be out for the rest of the season. He did get injured, had an ankle injury in that game, so he will be out. Um, but again, Kenneth Walker, obviously, if he can get going again next game, that doesn't really matter too much. It's just, man, if their offense can play like this and their defense can play like this, they are. I arguably they're the team to beat. Um, it's just yeah, it was an insane game, as in the fact of I don't think anybody expected that.
No, for sure. And there's not really much to say there. I mean, Seattle dominated. They're moving on to the next round. They'll play
Yeah,
LA. We're gonna obviously cover that in a minute. We'll head to the final divisional round. And the breaking news after the game, we're going to go ahead and talk about it after this game, after we recap it. But Buffalo and Denver, um,
A crazy game. Just to start that, crazy game, great game, uh, amazing game to watch. Not if you're a Bills fan, but so be it.
I I just find it so hard to fathom or even process that in a playoff without Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, or Patrick Mahomes, still great talent in the playoffs,
Mhm.
but without those three guys, Buffalo didn't go to the Super Bowl.
You
Now,
know, and honestly, I kind of think of it as maybe that's the reason why. Almost as in maybe they put too much pressure on Josh Allen winning a Super Bowl this year. Obviously, everybody thought this would be his year, since, like you said, you just mentioned all the quarterbacks that aren't there, that are usually there that he couldn't get past. They're not in the playoffs this year, so it should be an easy ride. And man, I don't know if that's what got them. Their offense wasn't really what failed them, but still, it's just I don't know. It's hard to say exactly what got the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, we could talk about refs and stuff in that game, but I
I,
just
I'll
you
tell you
know
what got Buffalo. You can't turn the ball over 5 times and win.
well,
Like
that's true.
they had a chance to win the game.
Yeah,
We can sit here and blame the officials all we want. I'm just going to simply say this: Broncos defender came up with the ball,
true.
but that's a whole nother conversation. I'm just going to sit here and say this: you turn the ball over 5 times in this game, you're not going to win. They
Yeah,
almost did,
yeah.
but they didn't win. Um,
Hey, and you
you
got to
know,
give you got to give credit to Denver. This is what they do. This is what they've done all year,
yeah. I mean,
and
they're
it's what they've been known for at this point.
mhm.
These close games, and they get away with it. And again, just in this game, they get away with it. Again, you could blame it on whatever you wanted to blame it on, but still, it's just they keep doing it to when they keep doing it like they do, it comes to a degree of maybe this isn't just like a luck. A lot of people just said, "Oh, well, they just earlier in the season when they started winning these close games and they started coming back. Well, that's just they kind of got lucky. And it's just like a one-time thing, a two-time thing. All right, they did it three times, cool, but like they won't do that in the playoffs. These close games they'll lose them, and they play a great Buffalo Bills team. I mean, Buffalo on their part did what they wanted to do. James Cook had 141 total yards, 117 yards on the ground. That's their game. If they can do that, they win more than likely. And they did this, and who won though? Denver. I mean, again, it's just at this point, I think you got to accept it. Especially, obviously, it's we're coming up to the championship games, but you've got to accept that this is just Denver's way of playing. Now, obviously, we won't know what happens in the championship game because they're going to have a little bit of a different look than what they've had uh, with a big injury at the end of the game to Bo Nix, and disappointing for Denver for sure. Obviously, Jarrett Stidham's going to be their starting quarterback for the AFC Championship. Don't know. I mean, he hasn't thrown a pass since what 2023. Hasn't completed a pass in an actual game.
I think he got in a couple times this year. Just like actually, I don't know if he ever did. You might be right
No,
on that.
I don't think it wasn't this year. Maybe last year at the least, but it's been a while that he's actually completed a pass in game. And obviously, people say, "Oh, well, it's Jarrett Stidham; they're not going to have a chance." He is an NFL quarterback. I mean, as much as people, obviously, he's an NFL quarterback. He's there for a reason. He has a backup role for a reason. He can play football. I mean, the man's not bad. So, whatever opinions you might have on him right this second, we'll see come
Mhm.
Sunday what exactly he can do. He has the talent to do it. He has the talent to run this Denver offense, especially the way they run their offense. He can fit in. It's nothing, insane that he has to get used to. And obviously he's watched it all year. It's nothing new to him. He's been watching it. for a while. So we'll see what what that brings. And we'll talk about that here more in just a second.
Yeah.
But it's just that was an unfortunate injury for Denver at the end, even though they did win this game, and it kind of takes away from the win a little bit. But man, I mean, they did all they needed to do. Bo Nix had a
Yeah.
good game. I mean, Mims had a good game. Eh, Humphrey caught a great pass at the end. Like they did all they needed to do to win this game, and this has just been Denver's style of football.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, again, like Denver's. I think I said this in our last we were previewing the game, and I said it. Me and you have just had this conversation before. I emphasize this over and over again. The best teams find ways to win games.
Mm-hmm.
They're winning games. They force turnovers. They
Yep.
do the things right to win. Yes, Bo Nix will be out next week. We're going to cover that in a minute. But I look at it like this: this Denver team is going to be good, so they're going to be fine. They did all the things right to win this game. Sean Payton's going to have him ready to go next week, and that's just that. J.K. Dobbins may be returning, so
True.
that's anything you see there. But kind of back to the Buffalo side, like in a game where I think they had, I think they put up the offensive numbers that they wanted to,
Yeah.
but again, the five turnovers killed them. I mean, it
Yeah.
hurt. Um,
That and penalty yards for them. They tripled Denver, I believe, in penalty yards, and that doesn't help either. I mean, and Denver had 3 sacks. Buffalo's defense could not get to Bo Nix. It just, I don't know. On the offensive side, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't anything. I mean, I would say it's not. It wasn't anything just outstanding either. Obviously, they put up 30 points, and you would think that'd be enough to win. But especially if I mean, Denver's not known for scoring a ton of points this year. They haven't, been known to do that. Their defense has been known to kind of keep these games really low, and this one was not. And I don't think that's what most people expected. But Denver, pulls off a high scoring win, and I think kind of surprises Buffalo in that fact. But again, Buffalo did pretty much all they needed to. They just couldn't. They couldn't finish it. I mean, they had chances. We've already said this. They had chances to win this game, and they just kept giving it away. I
mhm.
mean, you can't win the game that way. I mean, fair and simple. Fair and square. As much as you might want to blame anything else, when you have the turnovers they have, and you just give up these, penalties and stuff you can't do it. It's just not. It's not going to win you the football game.
For sure. And again, like you said, we can people want to sit here and blame the officials. You do you, you be you, but there's no way you don't look at the five turnovers and go, well, you know, that kind of got us here.
Yeah.
You should never. Here's the thing. Here's the truth. You should never allow the opportunity or give the. You should never have a put the game. You should never put the officials put the game in the official's hand.
There you
That's
go. There
I
you
don't
go.
know how I would word that.
You got it.
Um, but you should never get to a point in the game where you have to put it in the official's hands to make a call.
And that's
And
fair. I mean, any of those games that people go, well, it's the official's fault. Especially this game, I think you can say, look, it didn't even have to get to that point. It really didn't, because Buffalo could have won this game, and they probably should have. I mean, let's be honest, they probably should have. Like we've said, I know everybody put a ton of pressure on Josh Allen this year and a ton of pressure on the Buffalo Bills because all these main quarterbacks were out. Patrick Mahomes wasn't in the playoffs to beat him, and that's pretty much the only person he's lost to. So they're like, well, he's not in there, then might as well, be able to win. And so I don't know if the pressure got to him a little bit and they
and
kind of
and
crumbled, but
what's crazy, saying that is like he has not turned the ball over in a playoff game. in his career, if that number is correct, until this game.
I mean, again, like I said, I don't know if it's obviously we knew Denver's defense is good enough to do that. We knew they were. They're one of the best defenses in the nation. We knew they were. But I don't know if there was a little bit of pressure on Josh Allen to make plays. I mean, I think at the same time, if you're Josh Allen, you go, I've got to win this football game when it is close. I've got to win. He's done it a million times. We've seen it. We know what he can do, and that's obviously what he's going to do if he gets in that situation. He's going to say, "Hey, let's put this on my back, and I'm going to carry us to this victory because I know we can do this, and I know I can do this." And so, you know, I don't know if that was kind of the thing too, was like, hey, obviously I have this pressure on me. We have this pressure on us to get this far, to win this game, to get to the next one. So I'm going to try to do this. And he kind of forces some things and lets some things get away from him. And this whole Buffalo's team in a whole does that. I don't know if that's what exactly happened. Again, I don't know if obviously it's a pressure packed moment. It's a pressure packed game, especially when you're Buffalo Bills and you expect to get to a Super Bowl and you haven't. And so who knows? I mean, we'll never know why exactly they just could not finish this game other than the fact that what we saw and it's turnovers and penalties and just not being able to stop Denver when they needed to. So, there's really not much more to say to that is that the Buffalo just couldn't pull it off.
For sure. Now, I want to transition to the news following this game. Bills move on from Sean McDermott. I don't know about you. I don't think this was a good move.
It was surprising to say the least. When I woke up and I saw that morning, I was bamboozled. Honestly, it was. I know people had thought about it, had talked about it, and said that it might be a chance. But for me, it was like, why? I mean, why? I mean, I know you have that pressure to win a Super Bowl. I know you're supposed to get there. I know you've lost to Patrick Mahomes 4 times. And Joe Burrow once. I know it. But at the same time, you go, they have been great. I mean, they've been a great team. They've always been an AFC title contender, and they've gotten there a couple times. They've had chances. I think it's more of like almost like a Steelers Tomlin thing. It just without the fact of obviously Tomlin had a Super Bowl and McDermott hasn't got there, and everybody expects the Bills to get there, especially with as good of a team as they have, with as good of a player they have at Josh Allen, and the good as players that they surround him with, and how their defense has been good. They expect to get there. They really do every year. And so I, I would imagine that's why they fire him. I mean, obviously it is, but I don't know. I guess we'll
Th-
find out whether or not it was a smart decision or not. I mean, we'll see. I just don't. I agree with you in the same fact of saying maybe it wasn't the right move right this second. But I think it was, and people said that I think it was more a do you move on from Sean McDermott or do you move on from Josh Allen?
yeah, this is the big conversation that's came up, and I want to ask you about it. Do you think Josh Allen had a receiver to throw the ball to? In the sense of, it seems like Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, Nicole Hardman, Brandon Cooks are kind of his receivers to throw to. There's been a lot of stuff going around that, do we look at the head management and our GM and go, hey, this dude
Yeah,
selected these guys? I mean, I don't. Would you say he was surrounded in the receiver room? Now, obviously, you have Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox to throw the ball to at the tight end spot. But if you look at receiver room, would you say he was surrounded with solid receivers, or or are you kind of in the not really? I guess you don't feel that way.
I I don't know to be honest. they had like I know they had injuries at the wide receiver spot, and I know that's why they switched out. But if you look at who they had, their top three wide receivers, obviously, like you said, Shakir, Keon Coleman, and I mean their next guy was Brandon Cooks. And in the playoffs, Brandon Cooks had 0 touchdowns, 78 yards, five receptions, 78 yards. Keon Coleman, 2 receptions, 1 touchdown, 46 yards. And Shakir, 19 receptions, 157 yards, 0 touchdowns. I know that this year was a running team, like it was a run forward team. And when they could run the ball really good with James Cook, they were going to get close to winning games all year. They were going to win games. But at the same time, you've seen what they've had in the past. You've seen the players. Obviously, we all knew Stephon Diggs was the big guy when he was there, and that was the whole. Oh well, you have this elite wide receiver and quarterback duo. You can go as far as you want, and you don't have to run the ball as good as as they do now. Now they have a great running back and quarterback duo, and look, Shakir's not bad. He's Josh Allen's go-to guy, but he only had 700 yards this year. When you have a quarterback as good as Josh Allen, you really should have like 1,000 yard. You know, you really should have an 1,000 yard receiving wide receiver. I mean, it's you look at all the other great quarterbacks, the top tier quarterbacks in the league right now, and they have somebody like that they can just throw it to, and they know that they're going to come down with it, or they're going to make plays, or they're going to make catches.
Yeah, yeah,
And these guys obviously are electric and elite, and we know Shakir can be, but when you look at the star quarterbacks in the NFL, the only person I can think of that doesn't have a list of wide receivers that are just elite is obviously Patrick Mahomes this year and last year because they had injuries as well. Um, obviously, those are young guys, just unproven, really. Same thing for, I guess, Josh Allen, but you didn't go and get anybody. I mean, if you're the Buffalo Bills, you didn't go get anybody. You didn't trade for anybody. You didn't find anybody. You didn't pick up anybody. You could have easily done that. They had people to trade. They had people you could have given away. I mean, go get you a good top tier, just certified number one wide receiver.
and that's kind of been the big discussion, and I'm kind of on the same boat. Like, and that's where I look at and go, and here's the thing. This is the harsh truth about being a head coach. A loss, whether in this case,
Yeah.
a quarterback turns the ball over 4 or 5 times, it's going to sit on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to look at you. You know, Josh Allen didn't play good. I mean, I don't want to sit here and say he cost them a game because he got him back in the game. But is it fair to say that he had a big impact on them losing that game? I mean,
I mean, you can't say he wasn't part of the reason.
yeah, like I don't want to be the guy to put full blame on Josh Allen and
Oh no,
for
because
what
like you
happened
said again, he's there. They've gotten this far, and they've gotten this far, in the
because
playoffs every year
because of him.
because of him.
Yeah,
I
like
mean, we know he's the elite, one of the most elite quarterbacks in the league, and one of the most athletic, great arm power, or whatever, all the things that you would want in a quarterback. He's one of the best in the league, and we know it, and he's shown it over and over again. So at the same time, you go, well, they're here because of him, but you can say that sometimes it does get away from him. I think he puts it on his shoulders too much, and it's just like hey, gotta have a touchdown here, and I'm gonna score it, or we've got to have a score, and I'm gonna go down to do it. I mean, obviously the man loves his team that much, and he wants to win, and he puts it on his shoulders and say, hey, let's go down and win the ball game. Sometimes that gets you in trouble.
yeah, I just in my mind. I don't think it's fair to blame Josh Allen for what happened. Like I in my mind, I don't see that's being fair.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't I just to sum this all up, I don't think Sean McDermott should have been fired. I look at the front office and I say this, man. Okay, well, when you're giving Josh Allen to throw the ball to Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, Brandon Cooks, and your I mean, what's he supposed to do with that? And no disrespect to those guys, they're talented wide receivers. That's why they're in the NFL, but they're not 1,000 yard receivers. I mean, I feel like we can agree on
No,
that.
I mean, no, they're not. I mean, you look at the stats; they're not. Nobody was
But
close to that this year,
yeah,
and
that's
we know that they can be good, and we know from last year to this year, we all thought they would be. You know, they showed sparks last year, and they were like, "Oh well, if these are the wide receivers you got, and they play as good as they did, then yeah, we can have a great running back core." And sorry, great wide receiver core. Like obviously, you know you can, but they didn't show that this year. Again, injuries, I get, you know, you're going to have that. It's going to happen. Same thing with, like I said, you have somebody like Patrick Mahomes. He might not have the most elite wide receivers on the planet because of injuries and stuff, but they didn't have the most elite wide receivers last year and they made it to the Super Bowl. You got to look at it and go, there's got to be a reason. You have a team like that, the team that beats you, the team that has beat you 4 times in the last 5 years. They didn't have a elite wide receiving core last year. Kind of like the same thing the Buffalo Bills have this year. They beat you. They get to a Super Bowl. You still can't do it. Even when you had no elite wide receiver a few years ago in Stephon Diggs, now you don't have somebody like that anymore. I mean, there's got to be a reason, and obviously that's going to fall on Sean McDermott, and that's going to be the reason why he got fired. Now, again, we can say it might not be his fault. You can look at the GM, you can look at who they've drafted. You can say all these things. Why don't you trade for somebody? Why don't you draft somebody? Why don't you do this, do that? But it's gonna fall down to his shoulders, sadly enough.
mm.
You know,
Yeah. And again, I tell our people all the time, it's a sad reality.
yeah,
I mean, I thought we could blame a lot of quarterbacks for bad play this year. Like, I mean, we could point fingers wherever we want to and say, well, this guy played
yeah.
bad. I mean, I guess if we want to use Miami, I mean, Miami is a team that they need some more pieces, obviously, but Tua didn't have a great year.
But you look at that and go, all right, quarterback, great wide receiver core. They don't get anywhere. But imagine if Josh Allen had just those guys. I
They'd
mean,
be
if he
elite.
had, if
They'd
he,
be.
I mean,
There, there's no questions they'd be an elite team. Like it's just you got to have. I again, you need to have a receiver. In my mind, you need to have a go-to who is your playmaker. You say, okay, it's third and this much to go. I need a big play here. You got to have a guy. For Denver, I'd say it's Cortland Sutton. In this case, we'll use him. That's your guy. If for Buffalo at the receiver position, at least it's like I don't know, Khalil Shakir maybe. I
I
mean,
mean, Shakir was their go-to guy. He was the guy that if Josh Allen had to make a throw to somebody, it was to him. If it was a wide receiver, he loved. He's always loved his tight ends. Obviously, tight ends
yeah,
are a
I mean,
big part of that Buffalo offense and how they run
and
it, and they have
why
been.
wouldn't you? And why wouldn't you? I
Fair
mean,
enough, fair enough, and
why wouldn't you?
why not? They've been great, and they have and they still will be great. So there's no issue there. But you look at the teams who throw their uh, tight ends the most. There's not too many of them that are amazing. Obviously, Chicago is the one where they threw it to their tight ends a lot, and their tight ends were great. But they have a young wide receiver core, so it kind of makes sense. But again, they're kind of the outlier here. You look at someone like the Cardinals who threw it. Obviously, we know McBride set the record this year for most receptions by a tight end, but they didn't do anything.
Yeah, if you want to go out to Vegas too, we can talk about Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer in that case too. I mean, great receiver. I mean, great tight ends, but
Yeah,
it's just not. You gotta, in my mind, it's just you gotta have a receiver that a go to guy who you can rely on. I mean, it's I just didn't think they had the best receiving core.
No, they
Like,
didn't, and that's fair to
and,
say.
yeah, and maybe we're digging into it too deep with the receivers. I mean, but
It's not just we can't just say it's just the receivers. Obviously, they can have great receivers and not get anywhere as well. Like I said, you saw they had Stephon Diggs a few years ago, and you know, they couldn't get Patrick Mahomes. So, at the same time, it's like you look at Sean McDermott, you go, you have had guys. You might not have had the guys this year. You might not have had the guys last year. You keep losing. Sadly enough, it's in this day and age. The reality is going to set in that you're going to get fired and
yeah,
you're going to have to move on.
and the standard though, the standard
Yeah.
in Buffalo now is Super Bowl. They
Oh yeah.
they
If you'd have
for
had
them,
this, if this would have been Buffalo years ago, you'd be ecstatic
yeah,
because
but
this is amazing. Now the standard is a Super Bowl and that's it.
yeah, and I
And
feel
Sean
like
McDermott hasn't gotten there.
yeah, and a lot. I feel like you say the same for a bunch of other teams. The standard is now Super Bowl or a high for Buffalo. It's Super Bowl. For Baltimore, it's a at least
It's Super
AFC
Bowl.
champ. Yeah, I mean Super Bowl for them.
It's
Honestly,
so yeah.
they for me the standard is not playoffs anymore. It's a habit now.
It's the
To
same thing
to
with all. It's the same thing with all sports. Even college football, college basketball, legitimately any sport nowadays. It's all about. It's not about consistency. You saw it. Tomlin stepping down. We don't know if he just stepped down under his own power. Or he was kind of forced out. Who knows? Obviously, people wanted him gone. He was the most consistent head coach in the whole league, and you saw
can
that.
I
That didn't get him too far.
can I just ask a point about Mike Tomlin though? Do you expect him to go on a Super Bowl run with quarterbacks like Mason Rudolph, Mitchell Trubisky, Kenny
Well, no,
Pickett, and
that's
like
it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same deal. Obviously, just a different position, and we know quarterback's the most important position on the team. But you kind of look at him and you go, he didn't have quarterbacks. He made it to the
that's
playoffs every year.
that was my big thing.
You
It's
look at
like
Buffalo, you go, they don't have wide receivers, but they have a great quarterback. It's understandable, and
and yeah, I
but
mean,
that's just. But again, it's just the thing. Consistency isn't. Consistency is not really the key to a long term success rate at head coach anymore. I mean, if
yeah,
you can
yeah,
win
and
15 games a year, but you don't make it past the second, third round of the playoffs, then
yeah, and for
it's just not going to happen.
yeah, and for
You're not going to
Steeler
stay.
fans, yeah, for Steeler fans, the standard has changed, and obviously, I don't want to get too off track, but I feel like the same in Pittsburgh is like, man, you gave him honestly mediocre or worse quarterbacks. I mean, if you ask me, and he did well with that. Um, but
Sure.
in the Sean McDermott case, I feel like he was done wrong a little bit, but that's also just me. Like I get the standard change, but and again, a loss always falls on the head coach's shoulders. I don't agree with the firing, but at the end of the day, Buffalo does. We'll see who they go get next. I think it's tough to replace Sean McDermott though, man. But that's how I
Yeah, for
feel.
sure.
But
For sure.
but that
It'll be tough, but we'll see. We'll see who they replace him with. Um, it'll be somebody good, hopefully. Obviously, they're a respected program now. Well, respected just team in general now. And you said their standards are high. They're going to want to have a good coach to get them there. So they're going to find somebody. Who knows who it's going to be, but we'll find out and we'll see where that gets them and if it was the right decision or not.
for
Um,
sure,
but
for sure, for
now
sure.
we'll move on to the actual championship matches on this Sunday. Starting with the first one, obviously the AFC Championship of the Patriots versus the Broncos.
I tell you what, I'm very interested to watch this game. No Bo Nix,
Yeah.
two solid defenses,
Mhm.
both an offense in New England who I feel like has been a little shaky to me. 14-degree temperatures right now, I believe, at kickoff. but a confident head coach in Sean Payton. I'll tell you that
Yeah.
his press conference this week and Jarrett Stidham, confident individuals. I love to hear that as a watch as just a fan simply watching the game. You love to hear that from a coach. If you're a fan, like how excited you were when you heard John Summerall talking and getting ready for the job at Florida. I think as a Denver fan, I think it should give you little, I guess, enlightenment. I guess the word I'm going to say for
I mean, and yeah, again, like we said, Jared Stidham is a quarterback in the NFL. He is good enough. There's a reason he's in the NFL. There's a reason he's a backup in the NFL. He's backing up a great quarterback in Bo Nix. There's a reason. All right, the man can still play. There's no problem with that. And like I said, this offense isn't the most difficult offense to run. It really isn't. Sean Payton's not going to make it extremely hard for him on Sunday. He's going to make it as simple as he possibly can. He's going to give him plays that have the best success rate, and they're going to go out there and try to execute that. I mean, nothing's going to change with this offense. They're going to run it the same. It's just going to be a different guy at quarterback. And I know everybody's just like, oh my gosh, well, yeah, that's going to change everything. Again, it's really not. The man can still make throws. All right, he can still throw the ball. He can still run it. He can still do all the things that Bo Nix does. Maybe at a slightly lower level for sure. But again, they're going to run the same offense. Nothing's going to change. They're still trying to get to a Super Bowl. I mean, and they believe, like you said, that they can win a Super Bowl with Jared Stidham. Even with that, they can win it without Bo Nix. And
or, or
that's what they want, and that's what they obviously are going to believe. It just, it's going to be a tough matchup against the Patriots. And another basically unexperienced quarterback as well in Drake May, at least at this point in the season, he's never been here. Another a young guy who's obviously played great this season. Obviously, he's in the MVP talks and everything, but he's never been here. I mean, this is new for this team in general. This is a whole brand new team compared to the last time we saw the Patriots in the AFC Championship. I mean, it's nowhere close.
yeah, and you know, could we see another Nick Foles situation? I don't know, but breaking down the game a little bit for me, there's a couple of things I've been seeing this playoffs that it's kind of for me it's like a little seesaw on which way I'm leaning, or a little balance scale.
Mm-hmm.
I look at New England and go, okay, they'll probably have a little bit of they'll definitely have an advantage at the quarterback slot, of course, with Drake May, and you got backup and Jerk Stidham, still a
Yep.
good backup. For New England, though, to me, the thing that I've noticed this playoff, I think to me a big problem in this game, and it was last game, this offensive line's not great. I feel
True.
like if you watch how they've played these last few games, they have not been great.
True.
I could flip sides of the ball and say, well, their pass rush has been good. But I'll argue this Denver offensive line is really good. We saw what they did last week against Buffalo. I think New England's a better pass rush than Buffalo. Um, but I think the offensive line is elite and better. Um,
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. You put yours sitting behind a not just a great offensive line, a not just a good offensive line, a great offensive line.
yeah, and you mentioned it
One of
like,
the best in the league.
and Bo Nix really didn't get touched much last week in the backfield. Didn't get sacked once, I
Didn't it?
believe.
No.
Yeah, and as a quarterback, that gives you a little confidence. Like, okay, I should be able to have time to sit here and deliver throws. Um,
Yeah.
but when I look at this game, J.K. Dobbins may be returning. That's a huge win for the Broncos at the running back slot. I look at New England. I think there's a lot of positives for this team. They're good offensively, good pass rush, good defense. My biggest concern, though, is will this offensive line hold up, and how much will this defensive line throw off Drake May in this game? That's the biggest
Well,
factor for me. And I kind of talked about it last week, um, with Houston and what they're able to do defensively, but I kind of feel the same way here. I think how much can Denver's defense throw off Drake May in this game? I don't think Ramondre Steven, and again, Ramondre Stevenson's been having a good playoff. He's running the rock well, along
Yeah,
with Henderson. However, I think Henderson's injured still at the moment. Um, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get the ground game going.
yeah.
That's a big question. It kind of got going last week a little bit in that game. Um, but I look at it like this: you got a quarterback who has not played this season. I'll tell you what I'm a big believer in, though, Jaden. I'll tell you what I'm a big believer in. I mean, New England does not have film on this guy whatsoever. So how do you prepare?
I mean, true that. Like I said, man hasn't thrown a ball in a game in 2 years. I
I
mean,
I am on the boat of, yeah, Jarrett Stidham has not played in a while, but New England's got zero film on this guy. Like, and
true.
I
Like I
know,
said, the offense isn't going to change too much with
yeah,
Denver.
and I think a lot of people think that's a silly thing I'm saying, but I think, you just look at it like as a defense, how do you prepare for a quarterback you've never played against? It's tough. It is. I think it's a tough task to do.
Well, and it might be for this New England defense. I think again, like you said, though, I think the most important thing for New England is the offensive line, and if they can hold up. We've seen they've played some great defenses in this playoff already. We've seen that they've kind of gotten beat down, and that offensive line hasn't been doing too great. So it's what can they do against this great Denver defense? Because the thing is, when you start getting that offensive line off rhythm, you're throwing Drake May off tempo. He's making some throws maybe he shouldn't do, or he shouldn't make, and hasn't made all year. And for a defense as good as Denver's is too, they're gonna, turnovers can become key. Like we said in the Texans game, obviously turnovers, a ton of them, but it's going to be key in this game. And so if you're Denver, you're trying to throw Drake May off as much as you can, and you're relying on your defense to go out there and make those plays, especially with your starting quarterback not playing. And so it's a big deal for them, for their defense to play as good as they possibly can and to throw off Drake May to give him a good chance, because it can't be a high scoring game. You just can't expect Jarrett Stidham just step in automatically and go run this offense and score 30 points like they did against Buffalo. It's just not, you can't expect that. It can easily happen for sure, but you can't expect that. So if you're Denver's defense, you're trying to keep this a low score game like you have all year with a lot of games, trying to keep it to one score, low score. Hey, let's go, try to win this game by 3 points basically. And if you can keep the game to a low scoring game all game and get New England's offense off the field and give your offense as many chances as possible, you have a good chance to win this game if you're Denver, even without Bo Nix.
For sure. But this is 2 p.m. Sunday afternoon, January 25th. I'm excited to watch it. But now it's time to ask, what's your predictions?
I If Bo Nix was playing this game, I'd go with Denver. I really would, and I'm not saying it's just Jarrett Stidham. Honestly, uh, it would honestly it'd still be hard for me to pick Denver even with Bo Nix. Jarrett Stidham is good. All right, he's not. I don't think he'll be as bad as people expect him to be. He's not going to be sorry, but he's not going to be a Max Brosmer. It's just he's probably not going to be. So I just still, man, New England has looked. I know they've looked sloppy in the playoffs, but they've looked good all year. I think they finally get it together. They go, hey, another great defense we've played. We've been ran through on the offensive line here. We got to step up. I think they do. And if they can get their run game going just a little bit, get that offensive line, maybe get some confidence that they can block the Denver defensive line, then they can win this game if Drake May can make some throws. And I think he definitely can. But it's just I can't go against New England here and what they can do. Um, Great offense. Their defense has been good, has shown that they've been good, and they can definitely win this game in both ways. They can stop Jarrett Stidham, get him off tempo in a first time throwing the ball in a while. Then they can definitely win this game.
Well, I think it'll enlighten you that I am going to go against you. I'm going to take Denver. Um, and I guess I'm being stubborn and not taking New England. I don't think I've taken them at all this playoff. Um, Actually, no, I took them against the Chargers. Uh, but from what I've seen the last couple of weeks, I just don't think this team is ready for a Super Bowl. Like I don't I think they're almost there. I just don't think they're a Super Bowl team. I don't think this offensive line is going to be able to hold up against Denver. I think this defense gets after Drake, man. I think they throw him off his game. I think Jarrett Stidham has a solid day. I think this ground game gets going for Denver. I see a world where Jarrett Stidham doesn't have to play great, but plays a solid game and gets the job done as they've done all season. Um, but I am going to take Denver. Like I think my biggest concerns for New England is the offensive line, and I know it. I know there's ways around it, but I just haven't been impressed by the offense either that much. And I guess that's wrong for me to say. They put up 28 last week, sure, but I don't know. I think playing this Denver defense, I think they're going to have an issue. I think the offensive line is not going to be able to hold up. I think Drake May's going to get thrown off his game, and you don't want to let the crowd get in too early and get involved too early in this game, or it's not going to end well. But I'm going to take Jarrett Stidham to get the win at Mile High at home.
And fair enough, fair reason to believe that. And they can definitely do it. So we'll see come two on Sunday whether or not they can actually get it done. Um, but then moving on to the game after that, exciting game as well. Obviously, the NFC Championship game, a rematch. They've played a couple times already this season. Rams versus the Seahawks.
Well, this is quite an interesting game. The crazy ending in Week 16, I believe, with the lateral and all the good stuff. Um, but a lot of great things to look for. Two great offensive teams, two solid defensive teams as well. Um, we're talking about two young head coaches with Sean McVay and McDonald. But there's a lot of things I'm interested in this game. Um, how I'm ready to see how Sam Darnold handles what's coming for him. I'm also interested to see how Matthew Stafford handles what's going to come to him. Um,
Yeah,
I think Seattle's offense they've been explosive this playoffs. I don't see it stopping Sunday. Um, but LA is LA. They're a great team. They've got experience clearly. But a lot of things I'm excited to see here. Um, well, just on the Seattle side of things, we talk about how good their offense has been. Sam Darnold, Kenneth Walker, JSN, the list goes on. Um, what they've been able to do offensively, the numbers they've been able to produce. And then you look at the defensive side and you're kind of getting the same stuff. An elite defense they've been this season. All around a complete Seattle football team. You had LA. Matthew Stafford, Devontae Adams, Puka Nakua, Kyron Williams. The list goes on. A great offensive team all around. They can move the ball down the field, they can score. Defensively, a solid team, a good front seven. I think they could be a big factor in this game. Could they get Sam Darnold off his game? Is a big question. And the same on the Seattle front seven. Can they get Matthew Stafford off his game? Um, both quarterbacks, obviously, they can throw some interceptions. Um, they both have shown at times this year that they can get off rhythm, and they've been prone to throw the interceptions, the force balls down the field. Um, I think the key for LA, can they take care of the football?
Yeah.
And can they slow down the Seattle offense? For Seattle, take care of the football, keep doing what you've been doing on both sides of the ball. Um, I'm very excited to see this matchup, though. Very anticipated, a divisional matchup at that.
Yeah, I'd like just like this last week. Obviously, it's a team that the Seahawks have played twice already this year. It goes the same way for the Rams. They've played them this season. They know what they're bringing to the table. They know what they have, and they know what they've got to do to beat them. We've seen how good Seattle has been. We've seen how they just beat up San Francisco. I don't think that the LA Rams are anywhere close to the San Francisco level. Again, new San Francisco has a ton of injuries, but as of where they are right now, I think the Rams are a much better team than that. Who knows? Maybe Seattle goes out there and just whoops them like they did San Francisco, and they move on to the Super Bowl. But I think for Seattle, like you said, it is if Kenneth Walker can have another great game like that, they're going to be hard to stop. This defense is amazing, if not the best in the league. And if they can do that, it's going to be hard, man. If they can stop this great Rams offense, and their offense can just run just you know effectively, they could win this game. And for the Rams, it goes the same way. If they can stop this very explosive Seattle offense, I think for them it's keeping those plays, don't not letting those big plays happen. We've seen, can Seattle can make some of those big plays, but also not to just like get punched in the mouth 5 times, over and over and over again. If they're gonna run the ball like they did against San Francisco, LA's got to be ready to stop that. They've got to be ready to do something to stop that game from happening. Because if it does get into that type of game, the Rams are going to have a hard time. Their offense can definitely keep up for sure, but it's can their defense stop? You do look at the Rams offense and you go, they've been great. We do know, like you said, both quarterbacks have had their troubles with turnovers. The Rams have had turnovers troubles a little more than Seattle over the last few weeks. Um, but at the same time, if the Rams cannot turn over the ball, if they can keep this game clean for them, and Matthew Stafford can make those MVP throws and those MVP plays and those MVP drives that we've seen, the reason why he could be the MVP, the Rams had every right and ability to be able to win this game. I mean, they do. We said their defense can step up in times because all we know, this could be a low-scoring game and both teams score under 20 points. Or this could be a game where both teams score 40. I mean, it very easily could go either way. And if this Rams offense can run effectively, Puka Nacua can have his wild games that we know he can have. If Kyron Williams can get the ground game going for LA, if things like this can happen, the LA team is just as hard to beat as the Seattle team. I mean, they are, and both teams are great. Like we said, they've played before this season. They know what the other team's going to bring to the table. It's hard to beat a team twice. It really is. One team's going to do it, but we'll see who it is. It's going to be a fun matchup for sure. Two great teams, two great offenses, and two great defenses just going at it.
Yeah, and they split the season series, and the final scores in these games you might want to know. LA beat Seattle the first time 21-19, and Seattle beat LA 38-37.
Yep.
Don't know
Again, it
about
could
you.
be. We've said it. It could be like I just said, it could be either type of game. It could be a really low scoring game that both these defenses show up the way that we know they both can, or it could be an offensive battle where both of these great offenses can show up as well. It's I mean, legitimately, it could go either way.
Yeah, for sure. Excited to watch it. It's gonna be on Fox, 5:30 kickoff, Central Time in Seattle. 43 degrees at kickoff. And I know you know what I'm about to ask you. What's your prediction?
I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with my same prediction that I've had all playoffs. I think the Rams make it back to a Super Bowl. I still think they win it. I just think Matthew Stafford gets MVP. I think he goes out with a bang. Honestly, he wins MVP. He wins another Super Bowl. I think it happens. So I'm going Rams to beat him. I think it will be a high scoring game. I don't think it'll be a low scoring game. I honestly couldn't tell you. I think every single time I've predicted a score, it hasn't been anywhere close. Um, so it could go either way. But for some reason, I feel like it's not going to be a defensive battle. It will be an offensive battle. And I think the Rams pull it off. I think they just have one of those game winning drives that we've seen the last few weeks. We've seen many times by Matthew Stafford. I mean, obviously, the most active leader in game winning drives. I think he has another one.
Well, gonna go against you again. I'm gonna take Seattle. I think Denver and Seattle have a rematch in the Super Bowl. Um, Again, I see this going both ways. I love Matthew Stafford. I love him to get another ring. But I would also love to see Sam Darnold put a ring on his finger. Um, I
Yeah,
just think
that would be quite the.
to me, they've been very consistent throughout this season. It's kind of one of my big things. They've been very consistent in their play in the playoffs. And with LA, they've been a great team. No doubt in mind they can win this game. But we've seen some signs coming down the stretch of a team who has clearly had their struggles in some areas on the field. Matthew Stafford with the turnovers. Um, but I just think this defense is going to be a problem for this offense. I think this defense will get after Stafford. I think they'll cause some problems. It's going to be a tough test. You know, you have to guard at Devontae Adams and Puka Nakua, along with keeping Kyra Williamson in check. But I think Sam Darnold has a great game. I think JSN has an awesome game. I think Kenneth Walker gets going on the ground. I just think this Seattle team is a Super Bowl team, along with this LA team. They're both Super Bowl teams. I just think Seattle got a slight edge here. They're also at home with the 12th man. I think that's another big factor for me in this game.
And again, it's another pick that I. It could go either way, man. It's another one. Both teams can win this game in whatever fashion they want to win this game. I mean, they could win it scoring 20. They could win it by scoring 40. It's just like the other game. It's hard to pick. When it comes this late in the season, both teams are good enough to win. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And so, you know, we'll see. I mean, we will see. Both these teams are great. Both these teams would be great stories to win a Super Bowl. Um, I just think the Rams will, and you think the Seattle Seahawks will. So we went different directions on both games. So either we could both be correct,
I think I'm 8-2 in the playoffs right now, man.
or I'm definitely not that. Don't even. I'm not
I
not
think I've
close to
lost
that.
2 games in playoff predictions, so I'm riding high on my picks right now.
You've done better than me. I'm not going to be surprised if
But but
you just
but
keep
then
it
me
up.
but then me saying that I'm probably gonna get humbled. And you know what? You can always use a humbling experience. Could use a few of
True,
those
true,
life, but
true. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I can't wait till Sunday to watch the games and see what happens. I am really looking forward to that Rams Seahawks game for sure. I think that's going to be quite the game. But also excited to see what Jared Stidham does with the Denver offense. Who knows? Who knows? Um, I think that's really all we're going to cover tonight. Uh, we'll get to a lot of stuff on Monday. Obviously, we'll cover our normal stuff. We'll cover the big game from this last week. Um, we'll go over a lot of that. We'll have a lot to talk about Monday, so we'll definitely see what we
And
all cover.
it's that time of year, man. It's just that time of year. A lot of stuff going on.
Yeah,
PGA Tour's
it's
kicking up. We'll talk about the winner of that on Monday as well, and all the good
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, for sure. Is there anything else you want to mention before we get out of here?
I'm chilling, man. Go follow our socials. Just go check us out. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Spotify, Amazon Music, Threads, whatever else I'm forgetting on that list. YouTube Shorts if you feel like it. Uh, Go follow, subscribe, and yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Go follow us. Go watch college basketball. Go watch obviously NFL playoffs. Um, go watch PGA Tour. Go watch the Australian Open. Ben Shelton, Florida man, Florida dog, just won. So great for him. Rooting for him. Yeah, there's a lot of sports on. There's NHL, obviously. Just go watch anything, and yeah, follow socials, and
we'll see you on Monday.
we'll see you on Monday. Yeah.
All right.